Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is a special title. Frankly, it's a title that has no reason to be as good as it is. It released in a time when Midway was squeezing every last drop of productivity from their employees that they could, with the mindset of having a game in a series released yearly. Mortal Kombat wasn't the only one. The Suffering would see similar pushes to get a release out and around the same time frame, which led the sequel, The Suffering 2, being the last game of that series, and feeling awfully rushed. Still a good game, but awfully rushed. Mortal Kombat just happened to be the biggest cash cow that Midway could shake down for more pocket change, releasing Deception and then 6 months later releasing Shaolin Monks, and then another 6 months later releasing Armageddon, with the teams only having a year to develop each game. They had to grind out games so much that there was absolutely no reason for any of them to be half as good as they were, and Armageddon would show most of the negative results that the others didn't. But how lucky were we that the game that came out still receiving the most love to this day in the year of our Lord 2024 going into 2025 would be the beat 'em up action RPG spin-off in a series that's known for fun fighting games but notoriously piss poor spin-offs. Shaolin Monks takes place immediately after the events of the first Mortal Kombat tournament. It actually takes place during the first tournament in the opening cinematic, which is one of the sickest cinematics we've ever gotten in a Mortal Kombat game, after Goro shows up to save his boss Shang Tsung, who decided to throw an old man hissy fit and exit stage left after the Earthrealm Warriors proved to be a bit too much to handle. Now, I played this game over on my Twitch, and I streamed the playthrough. I ran as Liu Kang. Most people would prefer to use Kung Lao because his dive kick loops are so much fun. Ask anyone that played the game, they'll tell you Kung Lao is their pick. More often than not. There are a few of us Liu Kang players out there, I'm sure, but more often than not, it was Kung Lao. And I get it. He's a ton of fun. The dive kicks are fun, and Liu's launcher sucks, but I think that there's a lot of fun to be had with Liu and the cheese that he can do against bosses. But Shaolin Monks was made with couch co-op in mind. So if you want to try it and you have a buddy to play it with, I totally recommend it. Play couch co-op with a buddy on original hardware, or if you're on PC playing through emulation or something, use Parsec. You really can't go wrong. You share a screen, so platforming can be a little funny sometimes, but the real fun comes in with the shared health bar that you get in the co-op. So you both better be good, or one of you better be great at carrying. Shaolin Monks isn't the toughest game ever, hardly so actually. You'll jump right into gameplay with no problem. It gets harder on hard mode. What a surprise. But speaking of the gameplay, the controls are simple, easy to pick up as well. You have a button for light attacks, launching attacks, heavy attacks, a jump button, block and lock on. Block and lock on are the same button. A grab, a button that you hold to do your special moves, and then your fatality button. Not a ton to wrap your head around, and it's all real simple. In some areas, the controls with changing camera angles may show their age. It's very rarely a problem. I didn't really struggle unless I was doing something specific for a collectible, like throwing an enemy at an exact spot and not being able to see where that exact spot is, or throwing an enemy and holding the stick in the direction that I want to throw them, and then they just don't go in that direction. That is a problem sometimes. Other than that, it all feels very smooth and snappy. Both Kung Lao and Liu Kang have a plethora of unlockable abilities. 4 specials per attack button. Each special starts off unlocked at the base level, so technically 3 to unlock per level or per button. And like I said, you might as well just ignore Liu's entirely. His launching special is just pointless. I don't see the point in it, especially compared to something like Kung Lao's hat spin, which can just loop enemies pretty much infinitely as long as you have stamina. Along your adventure across Earthrealm, Outworld, and your brief stint in the Netherrealm, yeah, you go to the Netherrealm, you'll find upgrades to allow you to progress the story, like the Fist of Ruin for shattering obstacles that you previously couldn't break before, a climb ability, a long jump, some others. I'm not going to spoil all of them. I know the game's nearly been out for 20 years, but I won't spoil all of them. You'll find several secret items along the way, in the forms of a concept art, fatality inputs that you could just Google instead, but I mean, it's still a collectible. Unlockable characters for versus mode and versus arenas. Yes, this adventure beat 'em up has a versus mode. Yes, it is a party game. It might as well be. It's dumb fun. And most of the Mortal Kombat 2 playable cast is present as well. Save for a few. Melina, Jax, Raiden, Shang Tsung, they're all unplayable. Jade is in the game as well as a boss fight, but she's also unplayable. She wasn't playable in the original MK2 to begin with. She was a secret fight, so that makes sense. But playable characters previously in MK2, some of them are not playable here. They take a back seat so the others can shine. Though using Game Shark cheats, you can use the NPCs. You can even use the trees in the Living Forest, and you can use other characters like Jax or Shang, though their move sets are unfinished. I think Jax has 3 attacks in total, a 2-punch combination, his projectile special move, and a ground pound. They're very much not finished. They were never meant to be played. But back to the hidden items, you'll need those abilities to collect all of them. Sadly, you'll also need a partner to grab everything, because in a cruel twist of completionist fate, some items are only available in co-op due to co-op puzzles, but it incentivizes revisiting areas. Shaolin Monks wants you to go back and revisit areas to collect what you may have missed, what you couldn't collect before, and maybe you can find some other secrets along the way, maybe some secret boss fights? Because those exist. They do exist, they are here as well. There's not a ton, but I deeply appreciate any added content, so I imagine others could. Spoiler, I'll go ahead and spoil it a little bit, so you know, if you don't want to hear what boss fights are there, I'm sorry. But you know, the hidden boss fights, you can fight Ermac in a fight referencing his not existing in the original Mortal Kombat or MK2, despite all the circulating rumors back in the day. There's an extra fight with Melina that's carefully hidden away after your initial encounter with her during the fight with the 3 lady assassins. And most secret of all rather, there is a hidden Kano fight right at the end of the game. I won't say how to access these, you can find it out yourself or you can look it up, but right at the end of the game there is a hidden Kano fight that references him and Sonya not being in MK2. They were imprisoned in the background so that new characters could come in, because I think that they were the least popular in the first game if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of love for the Mortal Kombat development history. There's a lot of love for the lore of Mortal Kombat development and these secrets, and it wasn't even until a few years ago that there was a secret hidden unlockable survival mode. So the process of engaging with it is awfully convoluted. There are guides. I've never done it myself, but there are guides to help you uncover it. And perhaps my favorite secret in the game is finding Smoke nestled away somewhere in the Living Forest, and if you do all his side quests, that you have to do them individually. You have to go do one and then come back to him, because I tried to do them all in one sitting and then come back. You can't do that. You have to do a quest, come back, go get another quest, and come back again. You just each one individually, but you have to. But doing those allows you to unlock a playable port of Mortal Kombat 2, the arcade port, in the extras menu of the game. I think right above the Suffering 2 demo that was hidden away, because Midway loved putting demos for their other games or advertisements for their other games and already released titles. Really cool stuff. Secrets and hidden bosses aside, you'll fight several actual main bosses along the way during the story, and they're all fan favorite characters that all happen to be playable in the multiplayer verses, again aside from Melina, Shang, and Jade. Starting off, you'll fight the Chameleon with a K trio of Kitana, Jade, and Melina. You'll battle Reptile somewhere. You'll discover yet another way that Kuai Liang gets his iconic scar, and you can have an awesome battle in hell against Scorpion. There's other fights leading up to the final battle with Shao Kahn himself. It's really a sick journey. There's the only other way that you've ever been able to travel the realms so much is in Mortal Kombat Deception, where you go through all the realms. And as fun as it is, I mean, it's a little dated, but it is what it is. Deception was a good time, but traveling the realms in Shaolin Monks feels like a journey. It feels so much more like a journey, whereas in Shaolin Monks, it was not Shaolin Monks. In Deception, it was more of a training mode. In Shaolin Monks, it feels so much more realized. You don't go to all the realms, but the 3 you do go to feels so much more realized, even if the Nether Realm is just a brief stand-in for one boss fight. Shaolin Monks isn't a lengthy title. It doesn't overstay its welcome in the slightest. Overall, it'll run you maybe 6 hours just to beat the base game. Naturally, it would take you longer if you wanted to grab up all the collectibles along the way, and even longer if you decided to speedrun your sanity in the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade mode against the coin-gobbling CPU opponents. It's a short game, and there's a lot of love and care put into every second of it despite being made in such a hurried time span. Naturally, not everything aged gracefully. The gameplay is great, but cameras can be a bit jank for certain sections, and secret hunting, naturally it looks dated. It's nearly 2 decades old, though I live with rose-tinted nostalgia goggles on, so that's never a deal breaker for me. The voice acting is downright atrocious in certain aspects, as was the way for a lot of games back in the day, and the writing is so paper thin for most everything throughout the game, especially Liu and Kitana's romance. And the most unforgivable sin for me is that this was the downfall of Kung Lao as a character. Super fun to play, but this is the game where he developed his unbearable, cocky attitude that just wasn't present in previous titles, where before he was depicted as a monk fighting to honor his family's name, even though he didn't want to fight in the tournament. And then later, he's a retired monk turned fisherman that is coming back to fight and help ensure the safety of his friends' lives, as well as the lives of the entirety of Earthrealm. This was the start of the Kung Lao, I'm a descendant of the great Kung Lao, I'm so damn awesome arc, you should listen to me. Shortcomings aside though, I think Shaolin Monks is still amazing. It's a game I still play all the time, and going through it again for my Twitch stream was a ton of fun. I'm a retro game collector, and as much as it makes my back hurt to think about, the PS2 is a retro console, and this game is far from one that'll break the bank as far as retro collecting goes. My channel is meant to be a channel talking about retro collecting and games that I enjoyed playing as a kid, so I do want to put it out there that you can pick up a copy for this pretty cheap. For a US copy, it's anywhere between $25 to $28. That's the typical going price right now at the tail end of 2024 going into 2025 at the time of writing this, at least. And there's a lot of content to be squeezed out in that 6-hour campaign, considering all the extra stuff, the verses, the collectibles, all of that. It's amazing. It's so well loved that people are still begging for a sequel almost 20 years later. Next year, going into 2025 will be the 20-year anniversary for Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, and fans still want more. As much as we learned about a canceled sequel and how much teasing we've had for a potential remaster or other things over the years, it just makes a lot of sense. And we wouldn't have all that information and all those teases if it wasn't for the outpouring of love that the community has for this game, just based on what we already got. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is the little MK spinoff that could. And it's the little MK spinoff that did. If he'll allow me a brief moment to be sappy, I want to just talk a little bit about how much the game actually means to me. I'll never forget long hours playing this game with my buddies when we were little. Good job, parents. When your kids play violent and rated games, and the late nights playing this game with my dad. It's one of those games that where I can close my eyes and put myself back there just as vividly, and I can see it just as vividly as if it had happened only yesterday. Time passes, people get older and they go their separate ways, family passes on, and at the end of the day, all we're left with is memories. And damn it if this game doesn't hold some of my most cherished memories. Thanks for watching. Play Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Whether you emulate it, whether you're playing it on original hardware, playing it solo or playing it with a buddy, using your Game Shark to hack the game so you can play the multiplayer characters in the single player campaign, however you break the game, however you enjoy the game. Who cares? Try it, play it, have a great time. We're almost 20 years out, but hopefully you can still see how much of a special game it is. I've been sitting around trying to figure out how to wear all this, and I'm not really good at scripting. This is my first attempt at scripting a video, but I hope it's appreciated. Hopefully people see it. If you do, leave a like and a comment. Tell me about your most cherished, I guess, retro title that you came up with as a kid. If you have memories of Shaolin Monks that warm your heart or just have stuck with you for the years, talk about it in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Y'all stay happy, healthy, beautiful, kind, and humble. And I hope I catch you on the next one. Peace, y'all. What was that you said, Kage? First try attack on Shao Kahn? That's how we do it here.